Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be doing a flip through of my Hobonichi Weeks from December through August 2022. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Alright, so for a lot of people, September, October is really exciting when it comes to the planner world specifically, because a lot of new releases are featured in this time frame as people are gearing up for 2023 already. And I've already ordered my new Hobonichi for 2023 via JetPens. When that comes in, I'll do an unboxing with you guys. But I thought I'd give you a hopefully a relatively quick flip through of my Hobonichi Weeks Mega and tell you how I've been using it and just give you a little bit of my thoughts on it and then what I plan to use my new Hobonichi Weeks for. So I did get a Moat term cover. When I was ordering this late last year, 2021, this was the only one that was available. It wouldn't have been my first choice. I did not purchase another Moat term cover. Once this year is done and I start using the new Hobonichi, I will actually just continue to use this. I'd like a new one just because there are some fun new colors out there, but there's no need for one. It does have a lot of pockets. I barely use any of it. I do have some important things stuck in there and my pencil board stuck in there, but actually don't really use it. I don't use this as a wallet, although you certainly could. It really is just to protect my Hobonichi Weeks. And even though I have this to protect this, I also do still have the cover on cover because this is a linen Hobonichi Weeks Mega in the colorway Peach, and I wanted to keep this pristine. The majority of my journals, I do this because I do like my covers to stay nice. On the inside, I did a little bit. My initial thought when I had set this up was I was going to change this kind of intro every month, but I soon learned that just wasn't going to happen. And it's really exciting. I can't wait to get my new Hobonichi because this year I think is the first year that's in English. So all of this is in Japanese and I don't mind that. That's fine. Hobonichi is a Japanese company. I did put this in here and I can tell you I've never used a sticky note from here. So I don't think I'll be doing this. And then once I have finished this, I'll actually put the end date to this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this all through December 2022 and then use my next one as a full year versus starting early, although I do have some plans on what to do in my new Hobonichi, but again, I'll talk about that once I get it. This I was using as a period tracker, so this is the current year, and so anytime I get my period, I go ahead and mark it down, and then I did carry forward my period tracker from last year, and I like having the 2 years together just so I can see anytime I'm with the doctor. This ended up being a pretty no-go for me. This is where I was going to put holidays and vacation days and sick days. It has been helpful for me to figure out when it is that my P.O. box is renewing, although I should stop it because I don't really use it. But otherwise, I typically use the calendar at work to kind of track these things. So I don't know what I'll be doing with this in my new one, but I know this didn't work. This worked for me. This was how I was kind of planning my content here on YouTube. And for the first few months, it actually worked really well because I had a lot of useful information on here. But as I progressed into the year, the amount of videos that I was loading to my channel actually significantly dropped. And it happened in June when I got sick. And then my motivation to film and edit pretty much went by the wayside. So you can see there's actually nothing done for July and for August. And the things that were marked for June had actually been done previously. Now for September, I have marked a few things just because there are some things I do like to keep track of. And I think I will continue this in the new one because it is helpful when I use it. It's just my motivation to film and more so edit, upload, and do all of that has been really minimal. And this actually reflects that. So nothing actually has really been done to the following months. Again, this does go through March of next year. I won't be using the 2023 pages in here, so those will just be kept blank. And then when it gets into the weekly section, this is what I use as my everyday carry. So no matter where I am, I always have this near me. And so this weekly section I use to track completed tasks for work. Now, in the beginning of the year, I was still able to telework, and so this was actually critical because I needed to submit a weekly plan on what I completed on my days that I worked from home. And this is kind of why this all started. Prior to this, I was working in astrology, but it was much too big, and I needed to be able to carry something that was smaller because I would start commuting. And so I do actually enjoy the kind of very functional on one hand, but also very decorative. The decorative aspect really makes me want to come back into here on a weekly and even daily basis. And so I do have fun setting it up, and I do have fun looking at it. And there is no theme. I do love pen to paper. So I love the writing. The writing is not done to be super social media Instagrammy. It's really just my writing. I'm jotting things down as I go through the day. And sometimes the decoration on the page is the text on the page, and I just really like the look of it. There is no theme by way of color. There are a few weeks that there just has been nothing. I do use a variety of different items. I do like to doodle in here on occasion. Using washi, stickers from various sources is really what I enjoy. And on a weekly basis, I just figure out, okay, how do I want my setup to be? As you can see, I don't always use the pre-made setup. And the only reason for that is I do like switching things up. There is no actual real legit reason for marking out my own. I do also like darkening up the lines just because it helps me visualize it more. And I am always cognizant that I do carry this with me, and I am riding the bus more and more. And so I don't want this to be super, super chunky, but it certainly is a lot more chunky than when I first got it. And so as you can see, it definitely is used, and so I'm very comfortable in getting a new one, knowing that I'm going to be using it again. And so for the this weekly section, I'll be using it exactly the same way. And so some decor, some tracking completed tasks. I also mark what's in the cafeteria as well as what I eat for lunch. I do like to film those and do a video occasionally throughout the month. Usually I would load like once a week, and then it got to like twice a week. And it really, again, it just depends on my motivation to film. Because a lot of times I'll film videos and I'll just never get around to editing or uploading just because I'm just not in the mood. And I've learned over time that if I'm not in the mood, then I'm just not going to do it, because then it's just a waste of my time. And so we're getting into where I had learned about what the new lineup was going to be. Now, my Hobonichi Weeks that I ordered through Jet Pens is, it's very pretty, but when the one-piece items open up on 1101.com, I will also check out Amazon Japan if it's there, but I do want to order some one-piece items that may only be creative in nature and not actually functional like this is. And so again, just flipping through the weeks. This is the week that just finished. Yeah, and this is what I had set up for the following week. I've learned that sometimes I just enjoy the process more when I'm being creative, not filming it, because talking through a process and actually doing a process isn't that easy for me sometimes. And then back in the notes section, which is all the way back here, I had initially wanted this to be a tracker journal section. I did make a word of the year, and it is nonsensical because I've learned that actual inspirational words don't motivate me at all. And then it goes into tracker sections. So I do like to track a highlight reel. It isn't so much the best thing of my day. It's just my days aren't one endless Groundhog Day loop. And so I do like to write a little bit about what's going on. I wanted to track what I was reading, what I was watching, and some of my buddy colors because I do like to do coloring as an adult. And then I thought I would do a lot of journaling. And I knew I wasn't going to journal every single day, but I did want to give myself some space for the times that I did want to journal. Well, as I progressed through, I realized that I don't journal as much. I'm definitely someone who doesn't want to journal a rant or journal negative things because then it makes it more sticky in my brain. I'm not someone who can write it down and just kind of get it out that way. It actually has the reverse effect on me. And so I still kept up with my trackers, and I find this invaluable on a daily and weekly and monthly basis because some of this information I actually track to some other things. And so again, still leaving some space for journaling. At the time, I wasn't doing this except for on a monthly basis. So it's not like I had done all of them all set up all at one time, just because I wasn't sure exactly how much space I would need. For my new Hobonichi, I think I might set up a few of them in advance and then go from there. Again, still doing a little bit of journaling, and I do love seeing writing on the page. It's just sometimes I don't feel like writing. So there's that. Again, more trackers. And it became apparent as I got further in the year that trying to condense all of my trackers in a very small amount of space was a little ridiculous. This is the Mega, so there is a ton of note pages. And because I wasn't doing a ton of journaling, I knew I was going to have a bunch of pages left. And so when I am setting up my new one, I think I will devote 4 pages to my various trackers and then leave the back of it for if there is a point in time that I want to do some journaling, that I actually put it there. And I've found with this that I do like using my tabs at the bottom for things that I get into all the time. So where my weekly is that I'm going to need, that's where I put my inbox and my tracker. And the today really is just the end of the tracking section. The sections that I don't use as often, I don't mind it on the side. But for me, it's just really easy just to flip from the bottom. Now, the other thing I had started in here was a reading journal. But then again, once I started reading a lot more, I realized I don't feel the need to put down my feelings on every single book that I've read. And initially, when I was only reading a couple of books a month, this seemed doable. And then it didn't. So I really didn't keep it up. I did write some notes on the reading journal videos that I've already put up. And then at the back of here is where I do my actual monthly bills. So this everyday carry has a lot of different purposes for me. And so when I get the new one, I do plan to keep the bill in here. I will need to figure out the pages because I did just order some of those little Hobonichi Weeks little notebooks, and I can certainly do my bills in there. But the things that I definitely will be keeping is I'd like to maintain this. I certainly want to do this on a weekly basis. And then I have found my trackers to be invaluable. So it's not super pretty. It's certainly not super cohesive. The pens that I have been enjoying the most in here are either the Needle Tip 0.3 in the Energel. I do like a Sarasa, but this only comes in a 0.5. And then the other ones I enjoy is I believe this is a Pentel. Oh no, this is a Pilot High-Tech C pen in a 0.3 and a Muji pen in a 0.38. 8. Because it is such a small space and I can both write and read small, I do like something with a finer point on it. The only problem I found with this needle tip is if I'm not careful, I can actually stab through the paper, but that's more of a user error than anything else. All right, guys, I'd like to know what you guys think. Are you ordering a Hobonichi Weeks for the new year? And what cover did you order? I'd love to know in the comment section below. All right, well, that is it for me for now. And as always, ALOT.